My name is Dr. Tony Ahrens, and I'm an associate professor of psychology at American University. I'm also director of our master's program. The most common thing that students do after a master's in general psychology is to go on for other graduate work. So many of them will go on for a doctorate in psychology. Many students come to a master's program in general psychology either because they haven't had the research training to prepare themselves for a doctorate, or because they're uncertain about what area of psychology they want to go into. They want to spend some time exploring different areas before they make that decision. A second sort of graduate program that students go into after a master's in general psychology is actually any of a number of programs that is not in psychology. So for instance, we've had students go on to law school afterwards. They've tried psychology with a master's in general and decided that they want to go in a different direction. Another possibility is that students will go on to a different sort of master's level. They might decide that they want to be a counselor rather than do research psychology. And as a result, they'll use the time in the master's program in psychology to clarify their interests and then choose to go on to master's in counseling or other sort of master's program that would allow for licensure. Some students will go straight from a master's in general into the workforce, though. A master's in general psychology teaches a variety of skills. It gives students additional research skills. It teaches students more about writing. There's a lot about learning to think critically that develops in the course of getting a master's in general psychology. And so students who have developed those skills are going to be attractive to a variety of employers. They might work for governments, local governments, other governments looking for people with research skills, for advocacy organizations, for consulting organizations, for research organizations. Students will go on to be research coordinators. Some students will go on to be program managers. Masters in general psychology programs will vary in length. Some of them will be just a year, some will take 2 years. That's if you're going full-time. Some programs will allow you also to go to part-time, in which case obviously it's going to take a longer time. During the time you're in the program, part of what you'll be doing is coursework. Virtually all of these programs will have you take courses in research methodology and in statistics. Then programs will also have you take classes across the breadth of psychology. So you might take courses in biological bases of behavior, in the social bases of behavior, other courses in the causes and varieties of abnormal behavior. But the particular courses you're going to take will likely depend on the school. So some schools will have more depth in some areas than others. And since they have more depth, they will offer more courses, more variety in those particular areas. Beyond the coursework, a lot of what you'll be doing during your time as a student in a program in general psychology is research work. So you're likely in some programs to do just a research project, and others you're likely to do a master's thesis. And often the programs that are longer are ones that are going to have you do more research work. So in a thesis program, you might develop an original idea, execute it, and then write up a document that is like a journal article documenting what it is that you've done. It's making an original contribution to the research. In other cases, you might engage in directed research, in which case you might work for a short time under the direction of one of the faculty in the department. Often in master's programs, you will work in research even beyond that, which is your main thing. So you might be working with somebody on a master's thesis, but in addition to that, apprentice in a second research lab or in some other research that's going on in the region, so that you can both develop more of your research skills and learn more about different areas of psychology. The first thing that I'd encourage you to do is think about whether this is the type of program that's right for you. First is to make sure that you really love psychology. If psychology isn't very interesting to you, you're just not going to enjoy very much the experience of doing a master's in general psychology. There are a number of people, or types of people for whom a master's in psychology is right. There are others it doesn't make as much sense for. So if, for instance, you come from a place where you haven't been able to develop your research skills very much, a master's in general psychology often can be great. You can build a relationship with a mentor. You can learn about research skills. Sometimes students come to psychology late. Students might have very little psychology, maybe a minor in psychology, just a couple of courses. Often then a master's is a chance to learn about the breadth of psychology and to learn more deeply about what psychology is about. And also, if you're thinking about jobs for which research skills are useful, a master's in general psychology can be very useful. But if you're thinking about going on for counseling and going directly into counseling, typically a master's in general psychology will not teach you how to do counseling, and there are other sorts of master's programs or doctoral programs that would be appropriate, though you could use a master's as a stepping stone to that. Also, if you're just getting your bachelor's degree and you're not sure what you want to do with your life and you're just looking for something to do for a year or two, you might do something other than psychology. It's a large investment of time and money, and you might think about something else before you want to commit yourself to that master's. The second piece of advice is to look at the very specific programs. Different programs are going to have different strengths. Look especially at the faculty of the program. One of the things that's going to be most important to you is developing a close mentoring relationship. So look to see if there's one or if there are more faculty at that program who are doing things that you're really excited about. Reach out to those faculty to see if they're taking students. And also, when you write your statement of purpose, make sure to include in the statement why you're looking at that particular program, what the fit is, perhaps who the people are you'd be interested in working with, or what it is that you're trying to develop from that program. One other piece of advice is about looking for scholarships. This will largely be on a program-by-program basis. Some programs will have some funding, others will not. So look at what that program is advertising. Feel free to reach out to the program to ask what aid is available. And look beyond the program. Oftentimes universities will have special funds, people coming, for instance, from particular countries, other sorts of backgrounds, and they might be able to give some assistance based on that.